say I don't have a license and I want to receive a voter ID card. Procedurally, just how long will it be before I actually receive that card?
Right now, our current turnaround is 20 days, I think, for a driver's license. We have an expedited process, as I think most of you know, but there's a $20 charge for the expedited driver's license, and that you can get within 3 days.
Representative Scelsi.
So with the 20-day turnaround, then, Representative Kiffmeyer, how does that coincide with a provisional ballot for which then we would have to bring a current photo ID after 20 days? How would I then be able to vote?
Members, I think it's very important to remember that a big part of this is the funding of the voter education requirement and an aggressive effort to make sure that everybody has that free ID and has the time to get that ID. And also a receipt for one, and also the variants, other things like that, is something that if we want to do something specific in legislation next year, which would be the how process or the timing process, but I think the most important thing is the spending of the money and the resources to make sure that we have those funds, and this is a priority. When we have a budget and we set a budget and you have a constitutional requirement, that's a priority for spending those funds that are necessary to include those things.
How are you going to let the voters know that 20% of the people, and that's what my election judges tell me, aren't going to have to show a photo ID because they're going to be voting by absentee ballot? So this should really say that 80% of the voters, if that's what it is, and that could be verified. How are we going to let the voters know in the ballot box?
Representative Kiffmeyer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Representative Scelsi. Well, first of all, those 20% of the voters who are voting absentee already know those requirements because they vote absentee.
Right.
So they fill out that information. So I believe they are quite well aware of that, and that will be continued as is stated here today.
Representative Scelsi.
And I don't mean the absentee voters. Yes, of course they know because they've read the ballot. I mean the voters voting on this constitutional amendment. They don't know that 20% of the voters only have to show the last 4 digits of their Social Security number. So we have two classes of voters. We have the absentee voters who could just use the last 4 digits of their Social Security number. The voters going into the voting booth in 2012 don't know that. They're going on the idea that all voters will have to show a valid photo ID, when in fact 20% of them won't know. How do you educate the voters looking at your proposed amendment that says all voters?
Representative Kiffmeyer.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Representative Scelsi and members. I think you underestimate the fact that already 80% of Minnesotans have said that they support a photo ID requirement. Those who vote an absentee ballot are already familiar with the process, and I think it will be, you take that basis, that current basis, and I'm sure there will be lots of voter education going on before the election day as well by everybody whose name is on the ballot, by all these supporting groups, and I am absolutely confident they will be able to communicate the information. But I think most importantly, every voter stands in line and casts their ballot. They have personal experience with voting. They have personal experience with registering. They have personal experience already. And so the simple language of the constitutional amendment, I think, to the large majority of people is pretty straightforward and quite clear.